today to speak as an energy investor. I own shares in SCANA, which is a utility down in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, and in Berkshire Hathaway, which owns Berkshire Hathaway Energy. My name is Freeda Cathcart. You guys, do you need me to spell my name? Are you guys good?
We're good.
We're good.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to share what we've been experiencing in SCANA, because SCANA used to be one of the top energy companies in the country. And they made an investment in nuclear energy with Westinghouse that did an incompetent job in building 2 nuclear plants, or they didn't even complete the projects. They were incompetent, they were negligent, and left us with $9 billion of stranded assets. And I'm seeing a parallel with what's happening with the Mountain Valley Pipeline with Precision Pipeline Builders, that they are doing an incompetent and negligent job. That's where we are right now, because they didn't have the proper plans to go through the forest. They've had to shut it completely down. And it's going to cost what the original projection was for the project, because they didn't do proper planning. And it's very similar to what happened with SCANA. And at a certain point, SCANA abandoned the projects and said, we can't continue to throw good money after bad. And what that did when they abandoned the projects was it left the ratepayers paying the cost and the shareholders taking it. So my dividend's 1/10 of what it used to be from SCANA. And we just had a meeting 2 weeks ago with shareholders that were very angry with the officers of the company, that they were not on top of what was happening. And I'm very concerned that the CEO of EQT is not being forthright and with their shareholders and letting them know the trouble that the Mountain Valley Pipeline currently is in, at least what I'm seeing with the Mountain Valley Pipeline. And that it's probably going to end up being an abandoned project, which is going to again hurt the ratepayers and the shareholders when that happens. So Dominion is going to be buying SCANA unless the South Carolina legislature stops it. And my inspiration for having today's press conference, is so glad that Thomas Hadwin came down today, was last week, a week ago today, the CEO and president of the South Carolina Small Business Chamber of Commerce came out and did a press conference calling Dominion out for misleading the public. And Dominion has done a lot of advertising in Virginia saying that the pipelines are going to bring jobs. And I think that Thomas Hadwin would agree that that's misleading to say that it's going to bring jobs to Virginia. If you have energy go up, which you just did an excellent job explaining how the energy costs are going to go up in Virginia, it's going to make us less competitive. And people are not going to locate their businesses here. And what I think is really unfair is when I was reading the recent August Virginia Business Journal, it has an article about Google and Microsoft coming, and Amazon coming to Virginia and insisting on renewable energy. Well, but because they are large businesses, they can do things and throw their weight around, so they say, we want renewable energy. But small businesses don't have that weight unless the Chamber of Commerce stands up for them and unites them and say, we want renewable energy too. Because Dominion has been really suppressing the growth of renewable energy in Virginia and burdening us with projects like the Atlantic Coast Pipeline and the Mountain Valley Pipeline is just continuing that. And you might say, like, why are they building these pipelines if that's the case? Well, there's a 14% guaranteed rate of return on the investment. So if they just get the projects completed, the investors get to walk away with 14% of return on their investment that we, the public, end up paying for. So that's where wherever you live in Virginia, you don't have to be a landowner that's getting their land destroyed right now, or you don't have to live in the watershed where your watershed is getting destroyed. You are going to have the burden of these projects on you, and the public should be outraged about that. And the shareholders should hold their directors and their CEOs accountable for their fiduciary responsibility to protect their interests, the interests of the company, and to do right by the public. So that's why I'm here. Oh, the other thing I wanted to add, Berkshire Hathaway Energy, where we can see the future in the present day, Berkshire Hathaway Energy is 50% renewable right now in Iowa, on track to be 100% by 2021. So if they can do it in Iowa, we can do it here in Virginia. And if you use renewable energy, not is it only good for the environment, but it's good for the economy. It reduces the cost of energy, it'll give more disposable income, and that's really how we'll have a vibrant economy where people will want to locate and do business.
So I don't want to bury information. On the return is actually 15% for the Atlantic Coast Pipeline and 15.77% for the MVP.
Okay.
The 14% has to do with the return on the equity portion, which is about half of the cost of the pipeline.
Tells you it's an encyclopedia.
The other thing, we've heard for a long time about how our electricity prices are lower in Virginia than the national average, right? Just a little bit, mainly because things like Alaska and Hawaii are 20, 30 cents. We are the highest electricity rates in our region. We're higher than North Carolina, higher than West Virginia, higher than Kentucky, higher than Tennessee, higher than everybody except Maryland. And Maryland's headed to a modern energy system, and they are the only ones in the region that reduce their rates. So what we sort of crow about here in Virginia is not a competitive advantage. And by putting all of these new projects and burdening our citizens and our businesses with them, we will slide further back as a place that people want to come and do business.
So the reason why we're here is we're sounding the alarm to the public to please pay attention, to please contact your legislators, contact the State Water Control Board that's meeting next week. It's irresponsible for them to allow there to be a water permit for destructing our environment when there's no economic necessity, and it's going to actually hurt our economy. So that's why we're here, is to say, please pay attention, respond, do what you can to stop this travesty from continuing.
And if I could pick up on that, it